D'Angelo did not pass away in silence. He left a message that shook the world. Love you all, and we'll see you very soon. It sounded like an innocuous farewell, but only upon his passing did people understand. It was a code, the final confession he left in the darkness, a truth that had been concealed for years. The entire music world is now trembling, wondering what he knew, and why he hid it until the very end. What lies behind that message, a goodbye or a buried warning? No one thought the Philadelphia show, a night that should have been ablaze with D'Angelo's wild soul, funk, and notes, would vanish in silence with just a single brief announcement, an unforeseen medical delay following surgery. A cold, concise, and utterly efficient sentence. But behind it lay a vast, blurry gray area that people relentlessly sought to illuminate. Fans were stunned. The media paused. D'Angelo, the man who once turned silence into art, who transformed darkness into a different kind of light, suddenly went silent in the literal sense. He left the world a final message that seemed like a fleeting embrace in the middle of an unfinished journey. I'm in the lab and can't wait to serve up what's in the pot. Love you all, and we'll see you very soon. At first glance, it was just a gentle promise, but those who understood him, who understood the way D'Angelo lived, loved, and created, felt that something was profoundly wrong. In the lab wasn't just a studio, it was his sanctuary where he healed, where he conversed with himself. And this time, people weren't sure he would truly see you very soon. In his final years, D'Angelo rarely appeared in public. Not because he was lazy, but because every time he stepped on stage, he had to confront the persona the world had assigned him. R&B Jesus, the naked dude, the one who brought Marvin Gaye's soul back. They praised him, worshipped him, and then imprisoned him within the very image they created. His manager once said that he didn't want to be worshipped, he just wanted to be heard. After Voodoo, D'Angelo vanished from the spotlight. An entire generation thought he had retired forever. But in 2014, he returned with Black Messiah, an album that was more than music. It was a manifesto on identity, freedom, and the pain of those who shared his skin color. Some said he didn't write music, he wrote history with melody. But precisely because of that, every time D'Angelo spoke, people expected some kind of salvation. And when he fell silent, that expectation turned into a storm. In May 2025, when the cancellation notice was posted on the event's Instagram, everything went still. No warning, no elaborate apology, just a few lines. But every word felt like a stake through the heart of the reader. Fans began searching for clues. Unforeseen medical delay. A phrase that sent chills down everyone's spine. Close sources only said he was recovering from surgery and that it wasn't serious. But those who had worked with D'Angelo knew that he hated hospitals and the smell of medicine. If he had to go under the knife, things must have been far from simple. A sound engineer who collaborated with him in the Richmond studio recounted, he didn't talk much, just quietly played the guitar, eyes closed. Once I asked if he was okay, and he just replied, "Music's the only thing that keeps me breathing." That anecdote was never confirmed, but anyone who heard it could sense the truth in every word. D'Angelo always chose music to say what he couldn't with words. That was his way of fighting, a silent yet fierce kind of battle. And this time, perhaps he knew the storm was coming. There is one thing few noticed. In his final message, he wrote, "Serve up what's in the pot." That phrasing was no accident. The pot to D'Angelo was the symbol of creation where he cooked his ideas, emotions, and soul into music. Close friends revealed that in the preceding months he spent all his time in the studio recording dozens of unheard drafts. Not easy listening pop songs, but tracks imbued with gospel and jazz. Sometimes just the sound of his breath, a slightly out-of-tune string, or the creaking of a wooden chair in the night. He told an old friend that he was cooking something real this time. But then he went silent. No one knew what was in the pot, or if he had enough time to finish it. That statement became an enigma that would haunt millions of fans later on. Those who had worked alongside D'Angelo remained silent. They knew he didn't want anyone's pity. To him, weakness had no place in the world of soul, a world born of pain, but which never bowed to it. He was called the one with an old soul in a new body. He once said, "I'm just a product of the church, of Black people who believe in miracles, even if they never see them." That quote now sounds both poignant and prophetic. In Richmond, people still speak of the young Michael Archer, the son of a preacher, sitting at the church organ at age 7. That boy never thought music would take him out of that place, which was both a home and a wound. He only knew that every time he played, the world around him stopped. And now, as he departed, that world went silent once more. A few close friends revealed he still sent texts, still said he'd be back soon. But only a handful knew that his time was rapidly shortening. It was no longer about the stage, but the internal battle, a battle he never wanted anyone to witness. A technician from the Roots Picnic tearfully recounted that they had prepared everything for the show. "We thought he would come, even if just to say a few words. But there was no one, only the sound of rain falling on the empty stage." That image spread across the internet, a symbol of silence, the kind of silence only those who truly loved D'Angelo understood. He didn't need many words. A single sentence from him could contain an entire world. Just as he once sang in Untitled, "How does it feel?" It wasn't the melody but the space between the notes that brought people to tears. Similarly, this time it was the void in his final message that fueled endless speculation. D'Angelo never truly belonged to this time. He lived like a soul lost between 2 centuries, half a bearer of the past, half a fugitive from the future. And perhaps that's why his final message sounds like an echo from another place, not a goodbye, but a communication. As if he knew that after all was said and done, his music would speak for him. Some say D'Angelo wasn't afraid of the end. He was only afraid he wouldn't get to tell the truth in time. The truth that powers, prejudices, and overly bright lights had tried to conceal. But he did speak it in his own way. Through his guitar, through his gaze, and through that final message. Love you all, and we'll see you very soon. It echoes like an unfinished song, but within it lies everything. The pain, the gratitude, and a promise that was never fulfilled. He used to call that place the lab, as if it were a parallel world, completely separated from the rest of his life. People thought it was just a metaphor, but for D'Angelo, the lab was truly a tangible place. A small room, walls covered in gray acoustic foam, dim lighting, and the smell of guitar strings mixed with damp wood. No sign, no logo, no camera. Only him, the Rhodes piano, and unreleased tapes no one had ever heard. Relatives recounted that in his final months, he barely stepped out of there. Every evening, the yellow light in that small room would turn on, the only light cast from the house located in a quiet Richmond neighborhood.